Hello and welcome to the video. Quick look at some of the latest stuff from SpeedyBee. Now, I like the SpeedyBee stuff. I have a couple of their adapters so that I can change settings on flight controllers at the field and some other of their gadgets too. But I've never had one of their frames in. This is the new SpeedyBee FS225v2, and also got a couple of sets of their new antennas in for my lightweight builds as well. I'll put links below to both of these. First of all, let's look at the antennas. The antennas are slightly different lengths. Check that out on the website. And they come with 4 different connectors that you can choose from. There's SMA, there's UFL, MMCX, and MMCX with a 90 degree. Now here I have got the UFL and the MMCX. The idea here is that these will be perfect for when I want a circular polarized antenna straight into the video transmitter on really lightweight builds. I'm hoping to get in a couple of lightweight, smaller wings and things in soon, and these would be great for something like that. Now they're covered in this really pretty yellow and black ABS and PC coverings, and they have gold plated contacts as well. Now it's worthwhile mentioning the gold plated contacts because with the price of gold at the moment, lots of manufacturing out in China in particular is starting to offer non-gold plated contacts. In fact, you'll probably spotted in a couple of places people selling XT60 style connectors without the gold coating. Nice detail on the website as well from SpeedyBee. Looking at the distribution pattern and some of the specs, I know for lots of people it's tricky to read that stuff. Check out my Antenna Lab series for how to kind of read some of these diagrams. But the measured effect looks similar to more expensive antennas like the Rush and the AX2s. The really nice thing about these is how incredibly lightweight they are. 3.7 grams for the UFL and 4.27 grams for the MMCX. So I'm going to put these to one side. You'll definitely see these again. These would be perfect for the little video transmitters. I've got a couple from TBS and from other places as well that these will just clip onto. So if you're looking for a little small lightweight antenna, these are a reasonable choice. The next thing to talk about then is the frame. This is one of the latest designs from SpeedyBee. Again, this is the FS225v2. Now, as I unpack it here, you can see how beautifully it is packaged. It feels like taking an Apple product out of the box. This is a very nice change to some of the frames I've had in the past where they're literally just in a Ziploc bag. Now, this is separate arm designs. All of the plates in here are 2mm with the exception of the arms, which are 5mm thick. At the front we also have some CNC metal parts which form quite a good protection for the camera at the front. Now this is sold as a freestyle frame and the amount of space in here when you've actually built it is absolutely huge. This I think would be quite a nice frame for someone starting out. It isn't particularly expensive and there is lots and lots of room to get lots and lots of equipment inside. The camera support at the front will support 19 and 20mm cameras, so that's perfect for the larger analog and DJI cameras as well. And both the middle and rear sections, there are 20 and 30.5mm mounts, so your flight controller stack can go right in the middle where it needs to be, and there's room at the back with both 20 and 30.5mm mounts for your video transmitter, and your receiver could go there, or an air unit. So this is actually a really nice big roomy frame if you are maybe looking for something that's quite robust, that's quite cheap and cheerful but reasonably made, and also maybe have a go at building your first quad. Or maybe you've got a situation where one of the frames on one of the quads you've got is so damaged you just need something that's decent quality, cheap and cheerful that you can move everything across to. In terms of building the frame build is really straightforward. It's laid out in the manual. However, I wouldn't do it in exactly the way the manual talks about. There are some captive nuts that are pressed into the holes in this particular plate. Now, you can either do it with something like a pair of pliers, and you can apply a lot of pressure, rocking the pliers backwards and forwards, or something with something metal that's got quite a hard edge will eventually drive it in. I just used the vise. I took one of the soft metal jaws off and just held them in place and used the vise just to drive them home. I'd recommend do that first and then follow each of the steps. So the arms go on the bottom with 2 of the medium length screws through, and then once that's there, it's just a case of putting the other screws in the front and back with the varying levels of standoff, and then it's installing the metal pieces at the front. The only other tip I'll give you for putting this together is the tolerances on the frame are very tight. So the screws are actually biting very slightly into the carbon, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but the way that the metal surrounds around the camera go into the frame are very much a friction fit. If I was putting another one of these together, I'd probably run a needle file over the carbon fibre just so that those pieces fit a little bit more and that I wasn't stressing it when I was trying to fit everything together. So, a couple of nice things from the team at SpeedyBee. The antennas seem perfect for those lightweight builds, and you'll definitely see at least one of these in an upcoming build, hoping to get one of those nano talons from ZOHD, and this will be used with the VTX in there just to try and maintain the lower weight. Again, no idea how they perform in real life, but looking at the specs on the website, it looks promising, but the proof of the pudding with these things, as always, is in the eating. And the other thing I will point out is watch for the different connectors, because they do have different leads and different supports. The UFO one here has the straw under the antenna, and the MMCX one just has this single star cable. It doesn't hold its position, so just be aware of that. It's not just the connector at the end that's different. In terms of the frame, it's a really nicely finished frame. The carbon fiber's good. I like the metal cage. The captive nuts are a cute idea. The screws are decent as well. They're not made of Chinesium, so they just strip out when you try and put a little bit too much pressure on them. The box and unpacking is fantastic. It makes it feel like a lot more expensive item, but it's a really great way to keep all the pieces from getting damaged in transit. The weight isn't bad. It isn't a lightweight frame by any stretch of the imagination. I think this is definitely more aimed at those people who aren't going for ultra lightweight builds, and because of the size of the plates and the strength, I would definitely say that this is more a frame that I would point new builders towards. It looks like it's robust, it's dead easy to put together, and it's got absolutely tons of room in here for all the wires and bits and pieces that you might want to pop inside. The only thing that might be a little challenge is installing the captive nuts. Again, you can do them with a pair of pliers, or if you have a little bench vise or something like I had, it's very easy to push them home. Of course, on this there isn't a supplied mount for something like an action camera, but with the screws on the top at the front and the way that the rubber for the battery goes on here, you could easily make something that would fit at the front. In fact, I might do a little bit of design on Thingiverse. If I do, then I'll pop a link to it in the stuff down below. So there you have it, a couple of new things from SpeedyBee, some nice lightweight antennas for those builds, and also a very nice frame for the money from a manufacturer that seems to be taking a little bit of time and effort. So stay tuned, you may see these parts in upcoming videos. Having a frame like this, and also the recent SpeedyBee flight controller and stuff that I looked at, does make me feel like I want to do another quad build, and I haven't done one for quite a while. Thank you for spending your time today watching that video. You can find me in all the usual places on social media, and if you're trying to learn about a subject, then check out the playlist. All of my videos are organized into easy to follow playlists that if you're trying to learn a topic will take you from the basics right the way through to some pretty advanced stuff.